Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this one I'm going to be going over the immortality tech that I've covered in previous videos that yes, you can apply to any frame. I'm now going to be covering it paired with Chroma. Now don't get me wrong, Chroma has other ways that he can stay alive. He has other ways that he can annihilate endgame, do not get me wrong. This is just a video series where I am going over my favorite way to just kinda never die. Um, so yeah, there are other builds out there for Chroma and any frame that I cover. Don't get me wrong. Just because this build does not cover it does not mean that I do not know that it exists. I just, want people to be aware of that. For the Archon shards, we are going to be running a shard that I don't think many people have thought about with him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong there. But we're going to be running 2 Talforge greens for increasing your max stacks of corrosive by 3. Now, you can run 2 regular greens. You can run 1 Talforge green. You can run 1 regular green. It is entirely up to you because there is debate over, you know, how many, or there's mixed opinions, I will say, about how many greens would you need for it to actually be effective. You are fine running 1 non-Talforged green, and that's it. If you want to do that, you can. If you don't, that's also fine. You can run 2 Talforge greens like I'm doing. This just ensures that you can hit full armor strip. You can also hit full armor strip by putting 2 regular greens. So it's up to you. I also have a little bit of OCD, so I like seeing the fancy colors matching the other fancy colors. So yeah. The other shards that we're running is 2 Talforged reds. These are for just ability strength, and then another one for ability duration. For this build, you need these 2 Talforged reds. If you're going to run this build, you do need both of these. If you would like to change these other 3 shards, absolutely be my guest. Go for it. Absolutely go for it. You can do whatever you want with those. But these 2 Talforged reds do need to be here. So, for the actual build, we are going to be running this setup right here. Now I'm going to go through and hover over these mods. Feel free to pause at any point to be able to read what they do if you don't already know what they do. Same with the arcanes right here. Now, some things that I want to talk about is Archon continuity. As you know, Chroma's 1 can cycle between 4 different elements, so being able to just spew Toxin means that you'll also be able to spew Corrosive with Archon continuity, which means you will also be able to fully armor strip enemies anytime you want in the path in front of you, which is really nice if you need it for anything. Guardian Armor running this because we're essentially running this because instead of him just being a solo immortality tank that runs around, he can now fully, you know, help teammates as well. Um, so he's also going to be helping teammates stay alive while also being literally immortal, because you can't be affected by status effects due to Well of Life. Well of Life overheals you from persistence, and yeah, a lot of people a lot of people will probably mention that he has a ton of armor already, so you don't need Umbral Fiber. While that is a good point, I would beg to differ because if you don't have this, so let's say you're not running Umbral Fiber, you're not hitting that cap, which means persistence is not active. Which means if you die and you need to build up his armor again, you better hope that you revive with the exact amount of energy you need to be able to pop 1 Well of Life. So if you don't run any armor mods and if you purely base your armor gain based on his other abilities, you're cooked. Because if you get to level cap or you get to anything and maybe you forget to monitor the Well of Lives, right? Or you step outside of the Well of Lives for 1 second and let's say you manage to die, you're cooked. You are actually just cooked after that point because arcane persistence isn't going to be there, because your base armor value is not going to be at the value it needs to be. None of your abilities are going to be popped, and you're just dead when you revive from dying. And that's it. That's game over. Because there's nothing you can do besides going into your operator and hoping that you have something on your operator at the time to be able to give yourself energy. And you also have to hope that you get that energy without being shot once. in order to like keep yourself alive. Like you're not going to be able to do it. And it makes this build insanely hard to manage if you don't just run Umbral Fiber. So even though he can get a ton of armor, just run Umbral Fiber. Because if you die and you manage to die and you don't have Umbral Fiber, you're shot. Or if you don't have preparation. If you want to replace Power Drift with preparation, I guess, but if you do that, you're going to have to replace one of the other three shards besides the strength shards with another strength shard. I, I don't think that's a good gain. I think that's honestly not a good trade-off, but if you want to do that, be my guest. So we get armor stripping from Archon Continuity, we get immortality by replacing his 4 with Well of Life and overhealing the damage per second that you'd be taking, which essentially is 500. So if you overheal 500 damage per second, you can't die. You can't physically die. You can't be affected by status effects because that's what Well of Life does. If you see it right there, will absorb status effect damage intended, and then everything like that. So it says for nearby allies, it also affects you. And then if you do so happen to die, Well of Life will keep you alive. So, with all that being said, I think that pretty much covers everything in his kit out of the way. We are not replacing his one because the being able to cycle through his elements is kind of a part of his whole kit. So replacing it seems really bad. So we're not going to do that. Elemental Ward, you just need it. I mean, that's the whole point of the ability. We are primarily going to be running this for the heat one, so for the health that it gives. And then Vex Armor is just Vex Armor. It's always nice to have. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the Steel Path gameplay.